Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. And you?
I'm doing pretty well. So, we also have scheduled this grammar session with Gemalis. I'm calling her right now. Let's see if she joins us. Let's just give her a minute.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm gonna be opening the presentation. Okay. Okay, I think Gemalis is connected. No, she's not connected. Alright, so let's start. Okay, Juan, can you please tell me if you see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. So today's topic is about the grammar relationships that British English and American English have. That means we're going to talk about some similarities and some of the difference also. Now, let's start with some of the history. So, we have the Anglo-Saxon people. The Anglo-Saxon were a tribe that migrated to the island of Britain, and this means Anglo. The Angles were a Germanic people, and the Saxon were from France, so they were French. Now, throughout time, okay, somebody wrote. No, it was not here. Okay. So throughout time, these two languages, Germanic and French, merged into what we know as English. Then we're talking about this English as British English. So you see, we're gonna have a lot of grammar from Germany and France. Then this English migrated to the United States. What happened there was that this English merged with Amerindians. So, even though they practically the same, uh, they merge into different branches. British English that we have here, a result from Germanic and French tribes, and American English, which was a result of the Amerindian tribe joined with the English from Britain. Alright, so let's do a quick warm up to see if you can recognize which phrases are British or which ones are from American English. Let's start with this one. Shall I open the door for you? Do you think that's British English or American English?
This is a British English, I think.
Okay, why do you think so?
For the auxiliary shall.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. It's correct. So because we have shall. Now let's look at this one. He's taking a shower. Which one is that one?
American.
American. Very good. And why do you think that?
I don't know. Maybe for the contractions at his.
His. All right. Yeah, that's a valid point. We're gonna see that in just a bit. Now let's look at France have won the World Cup.
I don't found the difference between British and American in this sentence.
So
Maybe is British.
British. All right. So, yeah,
British.
it's British. We're gonna see the explanation of that. And
Okay.
I'm not hungry. I just ate.
American.
American. That's correct. So as you see, uh, well, as we practice more and more English, we kind of develop this feeling as to which one is American and which one is British. Of course, in Colombia and this university, we mostly study American English, so we don't have a very good knowledge of what is British. So sometimes British English will sound more rare to us. Okay, so let's see the grammar explanation. So, the main difference between British English and American English is pronunciation. That one you might know it. Pronunciation. Some words are also different in each variety of English, and there are also a few differences in the way they use grammar. Here are 5 of the most common grammatical differences between British and American English. So we're gonna talk in this session just about grammar. We're gonna forget about pronunciation. Okay. So this is the first difference in grammar that British and American English have, and is in British English, people use the present perfect to speak about a past action that they consider relevant to the present. The present perfect can be used in the same way in American English, but people often use the past simple, when they consider the action finished. This is especially common with the adverbs already and just and yet. So here we're practically saying that British English tends to use more present perfect, okay, and American, they use more simple present. This is also true in all the European languages compared to those of...
Sir, excuse me. Over there in American is simple past or simple present?
Oh, sorry. Very good. It's simple past. I confused that. Simple present. Simple past. Simple past. And so as I was saying, well, in Europe we have this tendency to speak in present perfect. This is also true, for example, in Spain. When we compare it to the Spanish of Latin America, they tend to use more present perfect, and this is also true for English. Let's look at also for Portuguese. So Portuguese from Brazil, they use simple past in contrast to present perfect. So it's an European thing that it also happens in English. Now let's look at some examples for that. So in British English, we can say, he isn't hungry, he has already had lunch. Whereas in American English, we say, he isn't hungry, he already had lunch. So we're talking about an action that just finished, but British and American English have different ways to say it. Now let's look at this one. Have you done your homework yet? Whereas in American we will say, did you do your homework yet? And finally this one, yes, I've just finished it. And you can answer in American, yes, I just finished. So we have here the prevalence of have, whereas in American English it's just the terminations in id. Okay, that is the present perfect and the past simple. Now we also have got and gotten. So in British English, the past participle of the verb get is got. This is for the British English. Whereas in American English, people often say gotten. Now note that have got is commonly used in both British and American English to speak about possession or necessity. Have gotten is not correct here. So in whatever case, we should avoid say have gotten. Alright. Now let's look at some examples for that. So we have British English here. We can say you could have got hard. Whereas in American English, we can say you could have gotten hard. We also have he's got very thin. Whereas in American English, we can say he's gotten very thin. In British English, we can say she has got serious about her career. Whereas in American English, we say she has gotten serious about her career. Okay, now we have a small note here, and is that have you got any money? And the answer will be we got to go now. Whereas in American English, we say have you got any money? And the answer will be we've got to go now. So as you see, we can also say got in American English without any problem. So in this case, American English is more versatile, since we can use some of the words that are most commonly used in British English. So here let's write versatile. Alright, now we also have verb forms with collective nouns. And here we're talking about, well, in British English, a singular or plural verb can be used with a noun that refers to a group of people or things, a collective noun. We use a plural verb when we think of the group as individuals, or a singular verb when we think of the group as a single unit. In American English, a singular verb is used with collective nouns. Note that the police is always followed by a plural verb. So we're talking about here, let's imagine we have a group and we have some units. We can imagine these are things or people. We can consider this as a plural, since, well, there are individual units. Individual units. And we can say this is just a whole. So in this sense, it's just a single group. In that case, we no longer are gonna use plural, but we're gonna use singular. So let's see how that behaves when we talk in British or American English. So in British English, we have my family is or are visiting from Pakistan. We also have my team is are winning the match. We also have the crew is are on the way to the airport, but the police are investigating the crime. So this will be, as the note said, always be a plural. And you see, in contrast with the previous example, here British is more versatile, as we can have is, are, is, are, is, are. Now let's look at American English. In American English, we say my family is visiting from Pakistan, my team is winning the match, the crew is on the way to the airport, but the police are investigating the crime. So it's just the opposite to that. Here we have the verb is. So we're talking about a singular unit. We no longer consider family as a group of individual things, but that's a one thing. One thing. Okay, so far, do you have any questions?
To tell you the truth, no. I mean, I understand all the
Okay.
topics.
All right, so let's continue. Now we also have the verbs have and take. These were the ones of the warm up. So in
Excuse
British.
me, sir.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Maybe there another classmate have doubts because it's here. Uh, Cordova Navarra
No,
is
I don't
here.
have any doubt.
Oh,
Okay.
didn't notice you joined
Thank
us.
you.
Hello, Jamalis. Uh,
Hello, teacher.
you were able to follow up with my explanation?
Yes, yes, I have heard anything, I suppose.
Okay, so let's do just a quick review to see if you got everything of that. Did you see present perfect and past simple?
Yes.
Okay, so you just saw everything. Okay, so let's continue. Have and take. In British English, the verbs have and take are commonly used with nouns like bath, shower, wash, to speak about washing, and with nouns like break, holiday, rest, to speak about resting. Now, in American English, only the verb take and not the verb have is used this way. So here in British English, we're gonna use more the verb have, whereas in American we will say take most of the time. Let's look at some examples for that. In British English, I can say I'm going to have a shower. I can also take a shower in British English. And let's have or let's take a break. Well, it's actually more common to say let's have a break or I'm going to have a shower. In American English, we will say I'm going to take a shower or let's take a break. Now, we also have the verb shall, the modal verb shall. So in British English, people often use shall I to offer to do something and or shall to make a suggestion. It is very unusual for speakers of American English to use shall. They normally use alternative modal verbs like should or can I, or do you want, would you like, or how about that instead. Now let's look at some examples for that. So in British English, we have let's look at this sentence. It's hot in here. Shall I open the window? So yeah, we're using shall. Shall we meet in the cafe at 5 o'clock? Again, shall. And finally this one. Shall we try that again? Whereas in American, we will say it's hot in here. Can I open the window? We're using can here. Do you want to meet in the cafe at 5 o'clock? Here we have do you want? And how about we try that again? So how about instead of shall. In some cases, some teachers might say that can is wrongfully used when we are talking about a request, and they say we should use may. But that's no longer true. That's about 2010 that the British Council started offering can and should. And how about as a proper alternatives?
Tutor, I have a question.
Yeah. Please ask me.
In the last sentence, how about we try that again? What is the meaning of how about?
You mean in Spanish?
Uh-huh.
Sería, ¿y qué tal si hacemos eso de nuevo?
Okay. Thank you.
It means exactly the same as shall. It's an offering. All of this and this are talking about requests and offerings. So we can say that it's also an invitation of me to you for doing something.
Okay.
Okay, so let's make a quick summary. So Juan, what can we say about have the present, the simple past, and the present perfect?
Okay. British people use frequently the present perfect to express, for example, things that end in the past. And American people usually use the past simple to express this kind of stuff.
Okay, very good. Past simple. So this one is American. And present perfect. This one is British. Okay, Gemalis, what can we say about take and have?
Um, British is frequently or normally use take and have before verb like I don't know if are verb. Okay, they use take or have before shower and break.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. Maybe could you try to say it in another way?
Okay, when they are referring to take a break or a shower,
Mm-hmm.
they use the verb take and have.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So British, right?
yes.
And what about American? Which one they use?
By contrary, the American use only the verb take.
Okay, that was very good. Thank you, Gemalis. American. Okay, so Juan, what can we say about plurals and singular verbs?
I think that British English is easier in this way because it's a little flexible, for example, in the plural way to express in groups. British people doesn't take or don't take, excuse me, the plural, the individual groups. For example, you can use are or is um, to express the sentence. But in American people use just, for example, take the individual, take in an individual way the groups. For example, uh, the family is going to be be in the hospital, something like that. And there is what exists a rule in both cases that, for example, when is going to, for example, we are going to speak like with the police is going to is wrong to say is. We have to use are to express with in the case of the police.
In which one? In British or American?
In both one. In both one, you have to use are, better to be are, choose talk with police. When we are going to talk with police, or we are going to use the sentence with police, we have to.
Ah, okay. Very well. Thank you.
Okay.
So, you also mentioned that plural is more simple. It's a very good observation. Because, yeah, we don't have to mind with these two verbs. It's obviously more simple to just use one. So, it's a very good way to remember that. So, simple, here we're talking about American. And when we're talking about singular, we're talking about British. And finally, Gemalis, please help me. Which shall? What can we say about shall?
Um, in British is commonly or common use shall. Um, I tutor. I only wrote that in American we have the modal verb,
Mm-hmm.
and in British the common verb in this case or auxiliary is shall.
Okay, don't worry about that. So, Juan, can you please help Gemalis? What can we say in American instead of shall?
Of course. For example, in British, we use also an easy way to say to ask, the shall,
Mm-hmm.
that, for example, can mean in many ways, but the correct way to use shall in British is for ask, right? And in American, we can use the modal verbs like may or like could, like can also.
Mm-hmm.
But according to the British Council, we can use can in many words, many questions. Excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
because at first I I I think you said in the 2010s you just have may use may, but now in the present day you can use can.
Yeah, very good. So this one, let's call it old, and this one is modern usage. So we can say also cool can, and how about about. This one we're kind of modern. Okay, so we're gonna head up to some exercises. I want to know, guys, if so far everything's clear.
Yes.
Okay. How about you,
Yes.
Jamalis? Alright, so let's move to the exercise. It's not gonna be complicated. So let's start with you, Jamalis. Shall we go for a walk? Is this British or American?
British.
British. Okay, very good. Okay, Juan. So my computer isn't working. I haven't gotten anything done.
American English.
American. Alright, and that's because we have gotten. So very good.
Yeah.
Jamalis, can I get you a coffee?
American.
Very good. Let's highlight can. And Juan, his family live in Helsinki.
American.
British.
British. I don't know.
This is American because we're talking about singular.
Yeah.
So
Yes. American.
very good one. Now, Jamalis, we'll have a break at 11 o'clock.
Is British teacher, but in the last exercise before to the last, his family
Mhm.
live. The subject is plural, pues so common, and the verb is taking the subject like a
Mm.
plural.
Yes, let me explain you about that. So let's imagine we have mom, dad, we have also some, let's say, 3 siblings. So this is a family. We have one individual, two, three, four, and five. Here we're talking about 5 individuals. But if we are talking about family, we can say this is just one thing. You see how I encircle it? So instead of just 5 things, 5 people, we can say one family. Family. So in that case, one family is just one thing. So we should use singular. Singular for the case of American English.
Okay.
All right. Who was next? I forget.
Mm,
I think
She.
Gemalis. Okay.
no, you. Mierda.
All right. So okay, let's do it with you, Juan. She's got
Okay.
behind with her work recently.
This is British English
Okay, and why is
because
that?
we use got.
Okay, very good. British. Let me scroll down. Did you eat yet? Gemalis, help me with this one.
Mm, American.
Okay, American. And why is that? How would you say it in British?
Have
Because
Have you eaten?
Okay, very good. We will say have, but instead of have you eaten, uh, have you have you eaten yet?
Uh huh.
Very
Yes.
good. And Juan, the children are having a bath.
British.
British. Very well. So this is the opposite of the exercise we were talking. So
Yeah.
Gemalis, why is that we use children and are in British? What is the question?
The children is having. Uh, Repeat me the question, please, because I don't sure. I'm not sure.
Mhm. Okay, so here the answer is British
Uh
because we
huh.
have children and are.
Uh
So
huh.
why is that British people use the verb are with children? That is the question. Why is that?
Be- because um, they use both is and are um, in sujetos comunes, no sé cómo llamarlos, sustantivos comunes. They can use both is and are, and in this case, they have been used. No, they have used uh, are.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. Another way for us to remember was the one that say Juan. So when we're dealing with English, it's more simple because we
Mm-hmm.
just have to deal with is, and that is a singular verb. Whereas in American, I'm sorry, this is American. The explanation, right? This one is right. So I'm just doing an explanation here. So in American is more simple because we just have to deal with is. In British, we have are and is. So it's more complicated. Uh, well, it's not that complicated. It's just we're gonna use are. So that's how we know we're using British. All right. So let's continue. So Gemalis, help me with this one. They have got. They haven't gotten home yet.
British.
British. Very well. Because of oh no,
This is American.
No?
Teacher.
this is American. Yeah, I was confused because of the haven't.
Gotten.
So the haven't
Got.
here, yeah, is British, but because of the gotten, this is
Hmm?
American. So okay, let me see if I can delete that. No. Yeah, I can. So this is American.
Like,
Now, Juan, shall we get takeaway for lunch day?
This is British English.
Okay, very good. Now this one. Shh. The kids are having a nap. Jamalis, help me with this one.
this is British.
Mm-hmm. Very well, because they use having instead of take. Um, now let's see this one. Juan, did you have a piece of cake yet?
This is British.
Okay, so did you? We're here dealing with past simple, so that is a
Uh,
clue. Which one do you think it is?
okay, this is American English.
Okay, very good. Now, Jamalis, Liverpool have won the match.
Mm,
Let's look at have won.
is British.
Okay, very good. This is present perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And Juan, they're not going to the cinema. They already saw the film. I'm sorry, I couldn't get that.
Excuse me, teacher. There are a little noise over here. Excuse me. This is American English.
And why is that American?
Because they use the verb saw.
Mm-hmm. Which is past simple. Okay, very good one. Jamalis, do you want to take a break now?
American.
American. Okay, very good. And this one, Juan. The restaurants got really expensive.
This is British English.
Okay, British. Because we have got. And if it was American, we will say gotten. Okay, guys. You did very well today. That is it for today. I'm wondering if you have any questions.
No.
Okay, how about you, Juan?
No, teacher. I haven't any question.
All right. Well, I appreciate your assistance today. And, well, I think I'll see you in the next time. I hope you have a nice day.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for your knowledge.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
It's my pleasure. Goodbye. Goodbye. Take care.